extraordinary how Bukola Saraki emerged as president of the party. Some are calling it a democratic coup.
It is like they tagged it in Nigeria as a democratic coup. It is a bit of a democratic coup in the sense that there were two candidates, and it was obvious that one of the candidates had an upper hand, this other candidate. And what they have done is having that election in the absence of the other candidate. And when many of the senators were not present, they were having another meeting with the president. So in a sense, it was like a coup. But having said that, I think becoming the president of the Senate is about competence. So is Bukola Saraki competent to lead? The answer is yes. So to some extent, they might not have got to where they were democratically, but they've got a good president. So that is that.
Well, I mean, you're right to the
thing.
extent that Bukola Saraki is known to have impeccable credentials. But I mean, you're involved in politics in the UK. Can you see that happening here?
No, that would never happen in the UK. That can only happen in Nigeria, I can tell you that.
Because, I mean, it's quite extraordinary, really, that the president, and there's still, the jury is still out on whether President Buhari was in cahoots, if you like, with the Senate president, because he actually called this sort of competing side to a meeting and then didn't turn up.
That's right.
And whilst they were at that meeting, this vote took place, and this chap won. I mean, arguably you could say he won democratically, because, I mean, he had 57 senators voting, but, you only need sort of 28. So he got through as far as, constitutional requirements are concerned. But it's that sense that, there's something underhanded about all
Yeah, I believe so. I believe there's something underhanded in there. The president is aware that at that time there will be an election in the House. Why on earth will he call another meeting? And having said that, since the election, he hasn't actually come out to say anything either way. So his silence is like admission of, yes, what they've done is right.
Well, he did subsequently send a message saying that he would have preferred it if the National Assembly had toed the party line, but given that they didn't, that he is quite willing to accept what he sees as the constitutional victory of Bukola Saraki. Nevertheless, it's going to be interesting at the National Assembly.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Now they're coming out to say, yes, we've accepted Bukola Saraki, but some people, some of the senators, they're still saying they want to go to court.
Yeah, that is extraordinary. But, I mean, that always happens. I mean, that's typical of Nigeria, isn't it?
It is.
There's always somebody who will make a lot of noise, and then they'll be appeased. And we don't even want to get into what the appeasement might be, but there'll be some appeasement, and then it'll all sort of be calm.
They'll die down and come down and start shouting praises that they're happy with what happened.
But what is interesting, I suppose, is that what it indicates is that the PDP party, which was the former party that's just been voted out of power with its president, Goodluck Jonathan, still has considerable influence, because he did it with the PDP support. And if he didn't have PDP support, he clearly wouldn't have done it. And that raises questions about how this parliament is actually going to work.
I think one thing we should be aware of is majority of people in the APC of today are actually former PDP politicians.
Very good point.
They only
carpet cross
to the APC, so they still have their friends, their alliances back in their old parties.
That is very true. We always forget, actually, that these people are just human beings. I mean, who have relationships and that sort of thing, and just the fact that they've crossed from one party to the other, particularly in Nigeria, where there are no big, fast, strong ideologies that separate the two parties.
That's absolutely right. So it is the only thing I've got is about we're hoping for a change, and what happens back on Tuesday didn't really give many Nigerians the confidence that the APC is going to be a party of change that will uphold the democratic process in Nigeria.
Right. Susan, for the moment, thank you very much indeed.